Welcome back, friends. You are listening to Human Talks, the podcast where we have honest, real conversations about the things that actually matter in life. I'm Alex.
And I'm Demira. We are genuinely happy you're here with us today. Wherever you are right now, on your way to work, taking a walk, or sitting with a cup of something warm, hello. This space is for you.
Demira, before we begin, quick honest check. How are you doing today? And I mean the real answer, not the polite one.
The real answer? Honestly, I woke up this morning thinking about 3 things I started and never finished. So today's topic arrived at the perfect moment.
Oh, that feeling. That quiet background guilt of the unfinished. The journal you opened twice. The course you started with full intentions. The morning routine that survived exactly 1 week.
Exactly. And the thing is, I didn't quit those things because I didn't care. I quit because at some point they stopped feeling the way they felt at the beginning.
And that's the heart of today's conversation. Why do we quit? Not the dramatic quitting, not the moment we throw everything out the window, but the quiet kind, the slow kind, the kind that looks almost reasonable.
Today on Human Talks, we're talking about why people lose energy in the middle of a journey, why discomfort gets mistaken for failure, and why so many of us walk away from things right before they actually start to work.
And if you are currently in that messy middle of something, a goal, a habit, a language, a plan, this episode is especially for you. Stay with us.
This episode is designed for B1 to B2 level English learners. The language is natural and a little richer than beginner level, but we will keep everything clear and comfortable. Don't worry if you miss a word. Just stay with the feeling.
And at the end, we'll walk through the key vocabulary from today, slowly, with examples. So even if something flies past you now, it will make sense later.
We also have a question for you. Have you ever quit something and only later realized you were probably much closer than you thought? Leave a comment. We read every single one.
Let's start at the very beginning. Because the beginning of anything, a new goal, a new habit, a new version of yourself, feels genuinely wonderful.
Oh, it really does. New notebook, new plan, new alarm set for 6 a.m. that you are absolutely certain you will hear this time.
And somehow a new water bottle. Always the water bottle.
Always! But underneath the jokes, the beginning truly has a special energy. It feels clean, possible, full of hope. And that first feeling leaves an impression.
To leave an impression means to create a strong effect that stays with you. You remember how something made you feel. For example, the beginning of a goal often leaves an impression because it feels so full of possibility.
And in that beginning stage, you feel close to the person you want to become. In your imagination, that future version of you is calm, focused, disciplined. You wake up smiling.
Your future self has excellent posture and always makes the right choice. No bad days, no excuses, just results.
Obviously. And honestly, that feeling is beautiful, but it's also a little dangerous.
Because many people believe that strong beginning energy is proof they will keep going. But excitement is not the same as endurance. Starting strong is one thing. Staying strong is something entirely different.
And most people are not afraid of effort at the beginning. They are afraid of continuing when the excitement disappears, when it stops feeling special, when it becomes ordinary work.
And that's when we enter the stage nobody talks about. The stage no one makes a highlight video about.
The beautiful, glamorous, extremely motivating, boring middle.
Exactly. The boring middle.
The boring middle. It sounds almost funny when you say it out loud, but it is genuinely one of the most challenging places to be in any journey.
Because the beginning is exciting. The end, if you ever reach it, is rewarding. But the middle is repetitive, quiet and unclear. It doesn't look impressive. It doesn't feel exciting. It just is.
And that middle stage can really take a toll on people.
To take a toll means something slowly has a negative effect on your energy or emotional strength over time. Not in one dramatic moment, but gradually, little by little.
Like, at first, you feel motivated. Then you feel normal. Then you feel bored. Then one day you are staring at your goal like it personally offended you.
Why are you still here? Why are you asking so much from me?
And that's when people become reluctant. Reluctant means not fully willing. Part of you doesn't want to continue. You haven't quit yet, but your heart is no longer really in it.
You delay. You avoid. You tell yourself you'll come back to it on Monday. And Monday becomes next Monday. And next Monday becomes, well...
And the tricky part is, this stage can look very reasonable. You might think, maybe I'm just being honest with myself. Maybe this goal wasn't right for me.
And sometimes that is true. Sometimes a goal genuinely needs to be reconsidered. But many times, it isn't honesty. It's exhaustion mixed with disappointment, pretending to be wisdom.
Because the middle doesn't reward you quickly. It asks you to continue before things feel worth it. And that is deeply, unreasonably difficult.
Very rude of the process, honestly.
Extremely rude. And this is exactly where so many people quietly walk away. Not because they couldn't do it, but because the magic disappeared. And once the magic disappears, a very dangerous question appears.
Is anything even happening?
That question. Because it sounds so reasonable, so logical, and it can end everything.
And that's the thing about growth. It doesn't always look obvious while it's happening. In fact, the most important growth is often completely invisible at first.
It's an insightful thing to remember. And insightful means showing deep understanding. That your perception of progress is not always accurate.
Perception means the way you see or interpret something. Two people can look at the same situation and have completely different perceptions of it. And your brain? Your brain is not always a fair manager of your own progress.
Think about learning English. A person can feel completely stuck because they're not speaking perfectly yet, but maybe they understand more than before. Maybe they hesitate less. Maybe conversations feel slightly less terrifying.
That is growth. It might not be loud. It might not be visible in the mirror or on a chart, but it is absolutely real.
People tend to respect visible progress and completely ignore invisible progress. But invisible progress is usually the foundation. Before confidence appears on the outside, it grows quietly on the inside.
Before a skill looks smooth and effortless, it almost always feels messy and awkward first. That messiness is not failure. That messiness is the process.
People want proof too early. They want evidence before the process has had time to breathe. And when that evidence doesn't arrive on schedule, they panic.
But no visible result does not mean no movement. Sometimes it means you are in a quiet season, and a quiet season doesn't automatically mean you are lost.
It might mean you are building, slowly, steadily, under the surface.
And right in that quiet season, another misunderstanding tends to appear, a very common one.
People start confusing discomfort with failure.
This one is so important because the moment something feels awkward or difficult, many people immediately think, this must be a sign.
A sign from the universe. This is clearly not meant for me. I would feel comfortable if this were right.
Discomfort does not always mean stop. Sometimes it means stretch. Sometimes it means your old habits are being challenged. Sometimes it means your identity is actually changing, and that never feels completely comfortable.
And the strange thing is, people often feel most uncomfortable when they're actually on the verge of something important.
To be on the verge of something means to be very close to it happening. You're almost there. And it's precisely in that uncomfortable, almost there moment that so many people turn around and walk away.
Because our brains don't always say, "Congratulations, you are growing." Sometimes they say something more like, "Abort, too unfamiliar, possible danger. Please return to the comfortable version of you."
Which is incredibly unhelpful, but very, very human.
Think about learning to speak in public, or starting a new job, or trying to be more disciplined, or setting limits with people. Those things feel uncomfortable at first. Not because they are wrong, because they are new.
Hard doesn't automatically mean harmful. Awkward doesn't automatically mean impossible. And I think this is where people need more patience, more kindness with themselves.
Because if every uncomfortable feeling becomes a reason to stop, then growth becomes impossible. You cannot grow and stay fully comfortable at the same time. Something in you has to stretch.
Which is a beautiful truth, also slightly annoying.
Very annoying. And you know what makes that discomfort even harder to sit with?
Comparison.
Comparison. Because you may have made real progress, honest, genuine progress, and then you look at someone else, and suddenly your own effort feels invisible.
And the problem is that growth is unpredictable. Unpredictable means not easy to know in advance. It doesn't follow the same path for everyone. One person improves quickly in one area and slowly in another. There is no neat, clean timeline.
But social media makes everything look clean and fast. It makes growth look like a straight line. Day 1, confused. Day 7, transformed. Day 14, glowing.
And somehow also drinking a green juice in perfect morning light.
Always. But real life is not like that. Real life is messy and uneven and emotional. And if you compare your behind-the-scenes struggle to someone else's polished highlight moment, you will feel behind for no good reason.
Instead of comparing results, pay attention to something more honest. Whether you are showing willingness to stay in the process. To show willingness means to show you are ready and open to keep trying, even when it's difficult.
Because maybe you are not fast yet. Maybe you are not perfect yet. But are you willing to learn? Are you willing to be bad at something long enough to become good at it?
Comparison asks, am I ahead? Growth asks, am I still here?
Say that again.
Comparison asks, am I ahead? Growth asks, am I still here?
Because if you are still here, still trying, still learning, still showing up, then the story is not finished.
So the question becomes, what do you actually do in those hard moments when every part of you wants to close the notebook, delete the app, and pretend the whole thing never happened?
And start fresh, somewhere completely different with a new plan and new stationery.
Exactly. So let's talk about how to stay when you want to leave. First, when everything feels heavy and overwhelming, narrow down the goal.
To narrow down means to make something smaller, clearer, more focused. Don't try to fix your entire life by the end of the week. That is exhausting and unfair to yourself.
If the goal feels too large, make it smaller. If the routine feels too hard, make it lighter. Focus on one single next step, just one, and do that.
Because often people quit not because the task is impossible, but because the goal has grown emotionally too large. It starts feeling like a judgment on their whole character.
It shifts from I missed one day to I am the kind of person who never follows through. And that is too much weight for one ordinary moment to carry.
So, speak more carefully to yourself. Stay specific. Don't let one difficult moment become a story about your whole identity.
Second, remember your reason. Not the dramatic, motivational reason you wrote down in a burst of energy. The honest, human one. Maybe you started because you wanted peace, health, confidence, self-respect. Come back to that.
Third, and this one matters enormously, allow imperfect consistency. A messy effort that continues is almost always stronger than a perfect effort that disappears.
That line deserves to be somewhere you see every day.
A very emotionally sophisticated magnet on your refrigerator.
And finally, stop asking yourself, do I feel inspired right now? Ask a different question. Can I stay with this a little longer? Because sometimes the bravest thing is not doing more. Sometimes it is simply not leaving.
Not leaving yourself. Not leaving the process. Not walking away from the quiet work just because it doesn't feel exciting today.
And staying, choosing to stay, is itself a skill. It doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's just one ordinary choice made again and again. And over time, those ordinary choices change you.
Before we go, let's do what we always do on Human Talks. Let's slow down and walk through the key words and phrases from today. Slowly, with simple examples. Leave an impression to create a strong effect that stays in someone's memory. That conversation really left an impression on me. Take a toll to slowly damage your energy or strength over time. Working without rest for months took a toll on her health. Reluctant, not fully willing to do something, a little unsure or hesitant. After so many difficult weeks, he became reluctant to continue. Insightful, showing deep, thoughtful understanding. She made an insightful observation about why people fear change. Perception, the way you see or interpret something. Your perception of your own progress is not always accurate. On the verge of, very close to something happening. She was on the verge of giving up, but then things started to shift. Unpredictable, not easy to know or guess in advance. Growth is unpredictable. It doesn't follow the same path for everyone. Show willingness to demonstrate you are ready and open to try. What matters is that you show willingness to stay in the process.
Walk away from. To leave something behind. To stop. Many people walk away from their goal right before progress begins.
Narrow down. To make something smaller and more focused. When everything feels too big, narrow down and focus on one step.
And maybe the heart of today is simple. You don't always need to do more. Sometimes you just need to stay a little longer.
Be kind to yourself. Trust the quiet season. Don't walk away too quickly from the person you are becoming.
Leave us a comment. Tell us what is something you almost gave up on and you're glad you didn't, or something you wish you had stayed with a little longer. I'm Alex. This is Human Talks. Thank you for being honest enough to listen to this today. That honesty matters.
And I'm Demira. Take care of yourselves. Stay a little longer. See you next time.